Hello everyone and welcome to Teach Ocean's third Ramadan micro-learning series. Our fourth session today is with Mrs. Heidi Omar. Mrs. Heidi Omara is a Delta certified educator and teacher trainer with over 27 years of experience in teaching, academic leadership, and education management. She has worked across diverse education contexts in Egypt and KSA, designing curriculum, and leading professional development. She specialized in empowering teachers through practical, high-impact training. Hello, Mrs. Heidi.
Good afternoon. Good evening, actually. How are you? How are you, everyone? Thank you so much. Thank you, Radwa, for this lovely introduction. And thank you, everyone, for
Welcome.
coming today. It's a pleasure being with you today. And I would very happily start our session today. And it's about clarity, consistency, and growth, and the power of rubrics in ELT. So I will start the first thing with asking you a very traditional question. Do you know anything about rubrics, or have you heard about rubrics? If yes, do you use it in your institution? Please, in the chat box, just quickly write me, yes, we do use it, and what do you use it for, or we don't, simply. All right. So I can see some of you writing that, yeah, you use it. Okay, in writing. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Unfortunately, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's okay. Some people they use it with writing, people they use it with speaking. Okay. All right. Okay, brilliant. So that will take us to the importance of rubric today, because this is something maybe it's new for some of you. I would like to share with you this information today about rubrics and the importance of rubrics here. So let's see what we have today. So these are the session objectives. Have a look at them very quickly before we move to the next part, which is what is rubrics and why are they important? So we will start by defining rubrics, the importance of rubrics and the types of rubrics, anatomy of a quality rubric, and rubrics as learning tools, rubrics for educators, and tips for practical implementation, the do's and don'ts when using rubrics, and some few next steps and some ideas about how to create also your own rubric according to the needs of your institution. So now look at this picture. There is one which is very clear and one which is fuzzy, right? And you cannot really see the details in this picture. Why? Because it's fuzzy, while this is very clear. And this is what happens with rubrics, actually, and because rubrics make the picture clearer when it comes to assessment and assessing students' work. Why? Because let me give you an example. So now, remember when you were a student and you had this piece of writing, submitting it, and you're very happy, and you thought that you're gonna get the full mark. But then it turns to be that you don't get the full mark, and for some reason you don't know the reason why. All right. So if it happened to you, then that means that you're here in the right place, because you need to know why did this happen to you. And if it never happened to you because your institution used to use rubrics, then lucky you, because I didn't. So here, this is a quick question. Think about the last time you graded a major student assignment. Think about yourself. Now you are an English language teacher. You are grading a student assignment. The biggest challenge for you is that you're grading this assignment, and in the next room to you, your colleague is grading another student assignment. Do they get the same, if they are the same level, do they get the same grade? Why not? Why yes, why not? You don't know, right? So what comes to your mind when you hear rubric? That's what comes to my mind when I hear rubrics, is that it's going to clear my picture. What about you? Now, in the chat box, very quickly, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind when you hear the word rubric? What is it? A table, maybe? Information, maybe? Anything that comes to your mind. Have you seen a rubric before? Do you know what is a rubric? Say, I don't. That's fine with me. Say, I don't know anything about rubrics. Or say, the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Your marking scheme guide, thank you. Okay, what else? Maybe it reminds you of the IELTS rubric, the can-do statements of IELTS, maybe. If you have seen an IELTS rubric before. Anything else? A table, okay. Information, yeah. Okay, right. So that takes us to what our goal today is: demystifying rubrics and unlocking their potential to make assessment fairer, clearer, and most impactful in ELT. Now, have a look here with me. Look at this table. Here, you have the quality, speed, innovation. Here, performance level needs improvement, good, excellent, right? And here's the quality and speed and innovation. It could be anything. It could be about working in an environment at work. And this rubric is about working in an environment at work, the quality of the work, the speed of work, the innovation of work. It could be anything. So rubric is not necessarily for English language teaching. Rubrics could be for teaching any subject. It could be at any job that you use rubrics just to ensure that any kind of assessment, you're assessing even a machine, that you need to really specify and evaluate and assess this kind of machine. So defining a rubric will be more of here a scoring guide, like Emmanuel said, a scoring guide that articulates the expectations for an assignment by listing the criteria and describing levels of quality for each criterion. So here, if we apply this here, you'll find that this is the performance level, okay? The listing the criteria and describing levels of quality. These are the levels of quality. And here's the listing of the criteria. What am I going to assess this thing, whatever this thing is, according to what criteria? Quality, speed, innovation in this case. But if we apply the same thing on other things, are checklists rubrics? No, checklists are not rubrics. Checklists are more of this is there or not. For instance, I'm going to assess a portfolio for some students. So I look at them and I look at what is present. Yes, he's got the assignments, tick. He doesn't have the assignments, no. So this is just some kind of checklist. It's not a rubric. A rubric is in itself is a score guide to see what I am assessing in particular, not just a checklist. Why does it matter in ELT? Because simply language is very complex. We have got more than one thing to assess. Okay, so in a writing, what do we assess in a writing? Can you share with me what we assess in a writing? Here in the chat box, what do we assess in a writing? I gave you already some hints here. You can use some of them. So what do we assess in writing? What do we look for? Let's think about the most important thing in writing. Ideas. Okay, good. I might have brilliant ideas, but when I put them on paper, I have other things to consider. Accuracy, fluency, pronunciation. The pronunciation comes in speaking. So this is when I'm assessing speaking. And fluency can be in writing and in speaking as well. Spelling, thank you so much. Spelling is one of the things. Yes, cohesion, coherence. Structure, right, Emmanuel. Structure is grammar. Brilliant. Okay. And that takes us to types of rubrics. Because the main two types of rubrics depend on the need for this rubric. Let's imagine something. For instance, I have got 250 exam papers to mark by the end of a semester if I'm at school, or for instance, for sixth graders. So what am I going to do? Am I going to mark and look at each and every single thing, or I'm going to look holistically at the writing? Let's see the types of rubrics, and then you tell me which one to choose. Look at this one. Here, we have got the characteristics and the points. These are the grades. So this student, or either she or he, they either take 1, or they take 2, or they take 3, or they take 4. But let's look at the characteristics that we need to look at. Let's look at the full mark. 4, content is clearly organized. Questions are clearly answered and contain original thought. Ideas are fully developed, and references and in-text citations are appropriately applied. How many things do I have here? How many things to assess in one go? I'll show you now. I've got content, I've got questions, I've got ideas, and references. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 grades, 4 marks, four things together. So for instance, if this person wrote the content in a clearly organized way, but he didn't clearly answer all the questions, ideas are not all developed, and references and in-text citations are appropriately applied. So here I'm going to go into this mode of what grade should I give this person? He's got the content very good and the references are very good, but the questions and the ideas are not very good. Should I give him the 4? Should I give him the 3? Here, content is well organized, questions are mostly answered and with clarity and contains some original thoughts, ideas are well. So this is a good rubric, but sometimes you feel like you have more than one thing to assess at the same time. We call this rubric holistic rubric. It's holistic. It looks at more than one thing at a time. Is it useful? Yes, it is useful. In some cases, it's very useful and practical, because when we look at this one, where it is divided into more than one thing, you've got the executive summary, issue identification, recommendations, video content. This is just a sample rubric for a presentation. So look at each part and how it is designed. So I need to look at more than one thing. The executive summary in this video or this presentation, the issue identification and the recommendation and the video content. Each one of them is alone and graded. In this case, when things are broken down, that means that this is a very important thing I am assessing, and this person needs feedback, needs to know exactly where is the issue or where is the problem. It's not just a grade, a holistic grade. This is a very important issue to address, and people need to know exactly what grade did they take about what. So he took 3 in executive summary, could be. In issue identification, got 1. In recommendation, got 0. And in video content, he got 5. Not all of them in one grade. It's divided, right? In this case, we call it analytic rubric because it analyzes each and every part of the assessment alone. So if we go back to the first one, the holistic rubric, what do we use it for? Holistic rubrics have got lots of uses. If you want a quick snapshot, use a holistic rubric. The task outcome is more important than the individual components. Yes, use a holistic rubric. I'm looking for the overall persuasiveness of an essay. Fluency in a speaking task. I'm looking for the whole thing. I'm not looking for the individual particles of a writing or some things. Then use the holistic one. You need to give general feedback. You don't want to go in details. Then holistic rubric is the solution. Large groups of students are being assessed and time is limited. That's what I was telling you, 250 writings in 5 days or something. Then you need to go for a holistic, definitely holistic rubric. Consistency across raters matters less than efficiency. So I am a rater, I am an examiner, I am a person who looks at the examinations, and I use rubrics, and I'm going to assess those students. And my colleague sitting next to me is doing the same thing, and my colleague next to me is doing the same thing. If it doesn't matter the consistency, then go for a holistic rubric. If nobody's going to look at the consistency of what is going on in the assessment, then go for the holistic rubric. I'm not saying that it is wrong that you don't care about the consistency at this moment, but time sometimes give you this restriction. So if you have time limitation, and it doesn't matter at this point that there could be some differences between gradings, go for the holistic rubric. So if I'm going to give you an example, giving 1 out of 5 overall score for a presentation based on how effective and engaging it was. So you're going to give me a presentation, I'm going to give you a grade from 1 to 5. And not necessarily giving you the details of your assessment. I'm not breaking it down. But if I'm going to do it and I'm going to break it down, then go for the analytic rubric. It depends on the needs. In end of the day, it depends on the needs of the assessment. What are you assessing and why? If you go for the analytic rubric, you want detailed feedback. Your learners need detailed feedback. They want to know exactly what did they miss. Why are they losing marks? Then it's the analytic rubric. Different criteria contribute differently to overall quality. So I have got writing. I want to know in a piece of writing, what exactly is my problem in my writing? Is it my content? Is it the ideas? Is it the coherence? Is it the grammar? Is it vocabulary? Because it's going to affect my future performance as a university student, for instance. Then go for the analytic rubric because they need to know exactly what's their problem. Assessment is high stakes. It's something very important. For instance, IELTS, they use rubrics. It's very important. And the minute details in the IELTS rubric is very impressive because it's all can-do statements, yes, but it shows exactly where this student should, what grade this student should take. And by the way, the rubrics, even for IELTS, they go by the half. So you don't get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 only. You can get 5.5. So it's very detailed and is very precise. Consistency and fairness are crucial across multiple assessors, and this happens in university. When I was the head of English department at the University, Egypt University of Informatics, it was very important for me that all my English courses and all my teachers assess the same, because it's very crucial that it's not up to the teacher to assess her own way. That's why we used to use rubrics. Rubrics are very important at this point, so that not a student would come to you and tell you, I want to be in this class because this teacher is nice and kind when she gives grades, but this teacher is harsh when she gives grades. It's not about the teacher, it's about the rubric, it's about your work. So this is when it comes to consistency and fairness, use analytic rubrics. You want to show learners their strengths and weaknesses. Why? Because they're going to work on their points of weaknesses and they will appreciate their points of strength. So at this point, use analytic rubric. The holistic is not going to work. An example for this, assessing an essay with separate scores for, now you are having, for instance, in academia, you're teaching academic writing, for instance, you cannot use a holistic rubric for academic writing or technical writing if you teach university students, because you need a grade for thesis statement, for organization, for accuracy, like a language accuracy, could be vocabulary, could be grammar, and this happens always in academic context. And mechanics, by the way, is also a very important part, which is spelling and punctuation and so. So what's the rule of thumb here? Use holistic rubrics for summative, general, or large-scale quick assessments, and use analytic rubrics for formative, diagnostic, or detailed performance evaluations where feedback really matters. But by the way, this is not a rule. You can use analytic in summative sometimes, because you have to. In academic writing, sometimes we used to use the analytic rubric because we needed to assess an academic writing piece like opinion essay, or not descriptive, because descriptive and narrative and these are more of ELT, but an opinion essay, argumentative essay, you need to use an analytic rubric. Holistic doesn't work with these. So the anatomy of a quality rubric. Here, this is a very important part because it tells you about what makes your rubric a quality rubric, that it works well. It's not only about having a rubric, but it's not effective. No, it's very important to have a quality rubric that works for you and your students, and you benefit from it. You have to have a clear criteria, specific aspects of performance being evaluated. What do you want to assess? Why are you using your rubric first place? Why don't you give them a grade? Oh, you're writing, I like it, it's 5 out of 5. Why are you using a rubric? Because you need to analyze the work of the student into grammar, vocabulary, coherence, task achievement, spelling, pronunciation, if it is speaking, and all of this. So this is very important. And it should very much align with your learning objectives. What were you teaching? You were teaching opinion essay. What were you teaching in the opinion essay? Grammar, okay. Vocabulary, yes. Coherence, definitely. Form, yes, very much. So you need to include it in your rubric. Whatever you taught them, you have to include it in your rubric. And definitely you have to have levels of quality of performance or descriptors. So ranks, some people use excellent, very good, good, satisfactory, needs improvement. or 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1 means that there will be a score in the end, a grade. And this is very important in sometimes because you need to put a grade for the students. If this is not the case, so you can keep it friendly, excellent, good, or excellent, very good, good, satisfactory, needs improvement. That would be nice. It's going to be friendly. If it's a friendly marking or assessment or a formative assessment, that you don't need to have a grade. But if you need to have a grade, you need to use the score of 4, 3, 2, 1. Could be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It could be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Some people like to include a 0 and some people don't like to include the 0. It depends on the place. Do you want to have the grade? You want to have a 0 out of 20, for instance? It's up to you. But a score that ends at 1 will end up in a rubric, for instance, 1, 1, if this is the least thing, 1, 1, 1, 1 is going to be 5 out of 20. Some people or some schools or some teachers like to have 5 out of 20 better than 0 out of 20. Again, this depends on you as a teacher or as a school. Why am I doing this? To have a clear, distinct, and measurable assessment. The descriptors, what we talked about, the grammar, the vocabulary, and everything, detailed explanation of each one of them, of the performance. So if I talk about grammar, for instance, the 5, which is the top, or the 4, which is the top, it's going to be very precise grammar, no grammar mistakes, no errors, no. When you go to that one after it, which is 3, it's like mostly there are no mistakes, mostly. So, and it goes on this way. So it's about the teacher that you think about, is it mostly no mistakes? Is it no mistakes at all? Or a few mistakes? Then you have to include this in the performance or in the detailed explanation. So the specification, the language specifications of features should be clear. So the student, when you give it to them and you look at the rubric, they understand their mistakes. Where were their mistakes? Often it is numerical points assigned to each level, or as we said, excellent, very good, good, satisfactory, needs improvement. This is an example, and I'm going to show you now later the source of this rubric. So this rubric is for 6th graders, descriptive essay rubric, about a trip outside your country. So it's very specific to this topic. So the task achievement is ideas and number of words, and vocabulary range, grammar accuracy, and the mechanics, the form, the spelling, the punctuation, and so. So here, the excellent is the fully addresses the prompt with clear, detailed description of who traveled, visited sites, and favorite part. And the word count is within the limit. Here, addresses the prompt with mostly. Here, adequately addresses the prompt. Here, incomplete description. Here, very limited, and so on and so forth. If you look at them, for instance, let's take the grammar. Consistently uses correct grammar, mostly correct grammar, some grammar errors, frequent grammar errors, and here grammar errors, severely impede understanding. So that's how you form it. Some people will start here with 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So there is a possibility of having, instead of this is 5 multiplied by 4, that's 20. Here the score is out of 20. That the score is going to be 4 multiplied by 4, the out of 16, that some people will get a 0. Again, it depends on the school and what you want in the end of the day. What do you want to give the students? So rubrics have got 2 sides of it. side for the learners and side for the teachers. Now, from what I told you now, what do you think is the good side of it for the learner? Send me in the chat box one word. What is good about it? How would a learner benefit from using rubrics? Just one thing, a phrase, a statement, anything. Think about it. What would benefit the students? How would they use it? Would it be good for them? Is it something good to have rubrics or just a score on their paper? Knowledge, yeah. Autonomy, well, that's a good word. Yeah, autonomy. Yes, definitely. So students will understand that their mistakes more rather than having a paper and a grade. Thank you for the participants here. And let's see what is it about here that more about the student autonomy. The clarity of expectation. Students know exactly what's expected before they start. So I will understand if I see the rubric before I start writing, I will understand what is expected from me. What are you looking for as a teacher? Improved self-assessment and peer feedback. So I will reflect on my own work. I will understand exactly what are the weaknesses and the strength of my piece of writing so that I will overcome them in the next writing. And of course, targeted improvement and reduces anxiety. This is really, it helps reducing anxiety because less guesswork about the grading. What am I going to get? What is going to happen? Does this teacher look at ideas more or grammar? Oh my God, am I going to lose the whole grade because my grammar is bad? No, you're going to be graded for your ideas, for your vocabulary, not necessarily it's all about grammar. So it's not about the teacher, it's not about her, it's about the rubric that you will be assessed against. And enhanced learning because it guides students on what to focus on and how to improve their skills. What about the other side? Let's see the other side of it. The teacher, how will the teacher benefit? So just a sentence here. It's like rubrics move students from what did I get wrong to how can I make it better? And this is a very important thing, really. Now let's look at the teacher streamlining assessment, rubrics for educators. How would they benefit from it? Increased grading consistency and fairness. So your subjectivity as a teacher, because for instance, oh, he used good vocabulary. I like his writing, so I'm going to give him a good grade. So this reduces subjectivity about what you're looking for in the students' writing. So in the beginning, when I introduced the rubrics in university to my teachers, so at the beginning, they was like, no, this paper doesn't take more than 10 out of 20. It's like, and what is this based on? The 10 out of 20, where did it come from? Is it your feelings? Is it your beliefs? Is it because you don't like his handwriting? Is it because that he used some wrong vocabulary? What is it about? Subjectivity in writing and in speaking, because these are the two productive skills, really impede in students' learning. So to overcome this, rubrics are the solution. And it's faster and more efficient because if you're, instead of looking and thinking about it, like, should I give him 2? Should I give him 3? Should I give him 4? No, it's going to kill the time for you because it's going to show you exactly what you're looking for. So it's easier, it's faster, it's more efficient, and it's fairer, clearer, and more specific feedback, points to exact areas for improvement. And I'll show you how in a minute now. Improved instruction identifies the common areas of student struggle, informing future teaching. For instance, if I've got students who have a problem, all of them, and mostly all of them in grammar, for instance, that will tell me about what I need to focus on with them in the future. So I need to give them maybe, even if they study academic writing, maybe a grammar lesson or something will help them. Maybe a grammar lesson on the difference between present simple and present continuous, or past continuous and past simple, because some students always use past continuous in everything and they forget about past simple. So maybe this is something, a point that will inform you about what to focus on in the future. And justification of grades. A student would come to you and would tell you, Miss, why did I, or Mister, why did I get 10 out of 20? What happened? And you keep on explaining to each student at a time. So you need to justify. Because I don't like your writing, this is not an answer. Because I didn't like it. Look at you. Look at what you have done. Look at what you have written. This is not the answer that they expect from you as a teacher and an educator. They need more to know, more to understand about their writing. So rubric would help with this. And data for program evaluation. It tracks overall student progress on specific skills. So you look at the grades, all of them had a problem with a thesis statement or with writing the thesis statement. So if all of them have a problem with writing the thesis statement, that means that you need to revisit the thesis statement again. Now look at this rubric again. Look at it and let me show you how to grade a student work. So for instance, this student, this is the rubric for the student, and it is attached to his writing because this is his. So this rubric is not one for all students, it's one for each student. So let's look here. This student got in the task achievement 4. So the grade here is 4. Here, the next, he got 3 in vocabulary range. So the grade is 3. Maybe he got here 4. So here 4. And then here it is 2. And here it's 2. So what is the total grade for this student? It's 13 out of 20. Now the student, when he receives this rubric in hand, he will take this one and will look at, so I'm here at 4. So what is wrong with my, maybe the prompt with mostly clear description, minor details missing, word count slightly outside the limit? Which one of them? You can use even a highlighter to highlight the problem. So if it is not about the prompt or the details missing, maybe it's only the word count, then you can highlight the word count for this student. So you circle here, you circle here, you circle here, and then you yes, Emmanuel, yes, I'll do my best. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Okay, so in the end, you will find that there is a grade in the end, and it's clear for the student. If you want even to make it even more precise and highlight only the mistakes, mostly grammar and sentence structure with few errors, so you highlight it, or just to draw a circle around the grade. So rubrics in action. Practical implementation. What do I need to do? I need to introduce rubrics early and explicitly. So go over them before assignments. Go over them with the students. Tell them about the rubric. This is your rubric. This is how I'm going to assess you. Okay, so they have a look at it in the beginning. They know how they will be assessed. Maybe you could involve the students. And this is a powerful thing, but it's optional in the end of the day. You might think it's like, no, my students are not yet ready to be involved in choosing what the kind of criteria they are going to be assessed against. Or yes, or maybe yes. Use student-friendly language and avoid jargon. And what's the jargon? These are the expressions that we use as teachers, that the jargon for teachers is different from the jargon for doctors, is different from the jargon of engineers, and so on. So as teachers, you use some kind of language. Don't use it with the students. If you're going to show it to them, don't use difficult words, because they need, in the end of the day, to understand the words. Their level is A2 or B1 or B2. They might not understand everything that you have on your rubric. And focus on observable behavior. So you don't say writes well in the rubric. He writes well. It's like, what is well? Define well. What do you mean by well? No, you need to make it even clearer by using, for instance, if you're using a narrative or a narrative essay, and this student needs to write a narrative essay. So it starts with in the beginning, after that, then, next. So you want to use transition words, put it in the rubric. Make sure that the rubric has everything that you want to assess the students against. But saying writes well or good writing is not something measurable. It's not something that the student can catch on. It's like describe well or good writing. I don't understand, what am I supposed to do? Provide examples, maybe from previous years. You can show them photocopied anonymous writings and show it to them. This is a writing and this is a writing. Which one do you like most? I like this. Why? Because it has got good writing, good ideas, good grammar, good vocabulary. Look at the other one. No, he has got mistakes, a lot of mistakes. Yeah, see, look at this. What else? So maybe the vocabulary is very simple. Good, very good. So before you start a writing, you can show them examples of other students' work before you start. And you can show them also the rubric, attach it to them, and how they were assessed. So they understand what they need to do. This could be used for formative feedback, not just for summative grades. So yes, you can use rubrics for formative or for summative. Just conscious of the time, we went through most of the do's and the don'ts, and I just want to go through them very quickly. So, as we said, align them with the learning objectives. Don't use jargon or vague terms. Focus on performance, not the effort, because we are talking about the piece of writing itself. And provide specific examples with descriptors. For instance, when you say vocabulary, uses vocabulary related to the topic, specify in the number 5 or the score out of 5, how many vocabulary words do you want? Uses at least 3 vocabulary words, so that you make it more tangible. And use a manageable number of criteria. Don't overwhelm yourself and the students with a lot of criteria. 4, 5 are more than enough. So task achievement, grammar, vocabulary, mechanics, this is enough. If it is a more complicated, like an academic writing, piece of writing or something, you can use thesis statement. And the don'ts are definitely the opposite of the do's. So don't use complex language. Don't make them too long and detailed because they are time consuming. Don't copy and paste from generic sources. Don't just take a rubric from anywhere and say, I'm going to use this one, because it might not be specific to your learning objectives and your students and your school. And I'll show you now what to do. And don't hide them until grading, and voila, surprise, look at this rubric I'm going to assess you against. It's like, why didn't you show it to me before? And don't overuse them. Don't use them for every single activity. Don't overuse them, because there are things that are simpler than using a rubric for. And don't confuse it with a checklist. So this is an example of a very sophisticated rubric. Now look at the language. Is it suitable for the students? Just a minute. I just want to move this here so that I can see with you the wordings. So this is a complicated analytic rubric for an opinion essay, sophisticated pieces with nuanced stance, consistently sustained line of reasoning, seamless logical progression. This is just an opinion essay rubric, but this is a detailed academic one. So maybe the students are studying for master's degree or something, so that could be something suitable for them. But if your students are sixth graders or they are in high school and their language is B1 or B2, this is going to be very sophisticated for them. Consistent mastery of spelling, punctuation, and formatting conventions enhance readability. This is very complicated for school students. But this is simpler, not necessarily this style. It could be even more complicated. It's you just adapt it the way you like. But this is a simple one. So far, the idea is clear opinion, strong reasons, well explained. Opinion is clear, reasons mostly clear. Opinion is there, but reasons are weak. So this is something that a student can understand. And this is what we're looking for, that it should be student and teacher friendly. Now, before we go to the next steps, let me show you an example for what we do here. So this is a platform that can help you with creating rubrics. It's called Magic School. You can just create an account it's free for teachers. Here, after you open, this is my page, and here is what I have created. You can go here for search all tools. So you write rubric. Then you'll find rubric generator. Go to rubric generator. It's a very good friend. So here, the rubric generator you write the level, the grade level, sixth grade or whatever, and then the point for scale, you can have the points for scale 5, for instance. Standard objective, you write it here. Assignment description, you write what you want here. And additional customization for rubric, you can add things here. Standard set to align, and then you generate. So I'll show you one that I've created already. I'll show it to you, rubric generator. This is the one that I created. So I'll show you what I wrote. Here, this is what I have written. So sixth grade, point scale 5, write a 3-paragraph descriptive essay about a trip you made outside your country. Assignment description, write a 3-paragraph descriptive essay about a trip you made outside your country. Mention who you traveled with, what sightseeings have you visited, and what did you like most. Use travel and sightseeing vocabulary and appropriate grammar structure. Word limit is 150 to 200 words. Additional customization for rubric, I want to assess the task achievement, including the ideas and word limit, grammar and vocabulary range, grammar accuracy, and structure mechanics and form. So here I specified the criteria that I'm going to assess the students against. So what did I mention? The task achievement, which has got the ideas and word limit, grammar and vocabulary range, this is one thing. Grammar accuracy and structure, this is another thing, and mechanics and form. And then I clicked generate. What did it come up with? It came up with this. All right. So here you are. This is how it looks like. And then I remembered, oh my God, I want a score register included on the page. So it added for me a score register here, total score. And then you can share, download, or anything. And how does it look like? Let me show you. it looks like this. And this is the one that I showed you in the beginning. It comes as a Word file that you can do whatever you want with and adjust it the way you like. You can change anything in it, and then you can afterwards save it as a PDF. And that's an easier way of photocopying or making copies for the students. So this is the same one that I showed you now on the website. Another way of doing it is doing it on ChatGPT. So as simple as that, you can just write, I want a rubric for 6th graders. Maybe flyers. You can specify CFR level for them, flyers. It assesses a descriptive essay about traveling to another country. Okay. The main criteria are could be task achievement, including ideas and word limit. Okay, 150 to 200. Grammar and vocabulary range. Okay, grammar accuracy and mechanics. Mechanics are the spelling, punctuation, and whatever. The scoring is out of 5. All right, let's see what's gonna happen. And here you are. Look at this. Here's the rubric. Very nice and easy. Look at the specification, fully answer the task with clear and interesting ideas about the country, places, and experiences. Essays within blah, blah, blah. Ideas are well organized. Answers the task with relevant ideas. Minor details may be missing. Here is the grammar. Here are the criteria that I asked for. Grammar, accuracy, mechanics, task achievement, grammar and vocabulary range. You can adjust it the way you like. And it's out of 5 as requested. So you have more than one way of doing it. You could do it with this application, which is the Magic School, or you can do it with the ChatGPT thing or Gemini or whatever. You have more than one way of doing it. So finally, the next steps, as I just wanted to tell you, is to remember that rubrics are tools for clarity, consistency, and growth. And your challenge will be to pick one assignment you regularly give and try to create or adapt a simple analytic rubric for it. Just try it for once. Try it as a trial, as something that you want to see how it will work for you. Maybe it will work better than what you have or not. And it will never happen from one time. It's going to always come from more than one time. You have to try it once and twice and thrice till it works for you. Look for rubric examples specific to ELT or create yours like I showed you now. So now I'll be very happy to answer any questions that you have. And I wish that you enjoyed the session today about rubrics. I just want to tell you that the first time I heard about rubrics, it didn't click. So it's normal that you don't feel like that it clicks now. But on the long run, when you think about it, if you try it and if you hear about it somewhere, you'll feel like, wow, I've heard about rubrics and how they are important. So if it doesn't click from the first time, that's definitely okay. But you have to really, really try it one day. And I'm really happy to be with you here today. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me any questions. I'm here with you. I can see that there are no questions. Does that mean that it was an easy topic? It's a good topic, or it's not an interesting topic? I wish that it was really an interesting topic, and thank you so much for having me
Thank you,
today.
Mrs. Heidi.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for joining
thank
us
you.
tonight. Hello, if you want to know more about Teach Ocean, please visit our website and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. The link on the chat box. Thank you for all.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Thank you for my question is application in other subjects. Yes, yes, definitely. Anything, it works with any subject. You create your own criteria for any subject. For instance, you teach social studies, you teach math, you have a task or a project or something that you're working, any project even that you're working on. You have a project for the students in the end of the year that you wanted to assess. On what criteria are you going to assess this project, whether it is math, science, English, or whatever? A presentation. Students in the end of the year are going to give a presentation about what they have learned through the year or something that they came up with. So this presentation should be assessed. Assessed against what? Is it the content? Is it the presentation skills? Is it the slides? The way that they presented their slides? Yeah, why not? Is it the teamwork that they work together? Is it the knowledge, the topics that they brought to the table? Yeah, why not? So you need to try to put all of these things as I showed you now, and you put it in the chat GPT or whatever, and this was gonna bring you the rubric that you want. So anything you assess is clear, fair, and simple, and could be understood by the students. Thank you, Emmanuel, for the question. Thank you so much. Any other questions? So I hope it was an easy topic, an interesting topic for you today. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today with you. Thank you, Nahla. Thanks to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming today.